Hello, I'm Dr. Jeff Phillips, and I prepared this little video for you. You can see, it's my real title. But I prepared this to go through things that are in the Dr. Phillips Big Book of Trombone Things, which if you're a student of mine at Belmont, you should have. You might have the old version, but this one is the new and updated one. And if you don't have a copy, just let me know, and I've now got it all where I can send it to you digitally. So I'm going to go through a few things in it. If you've been a student for a while, then just kind of reviewing some things that are in there. And if you're new, just to kind of get you on the right path. The reason I put this together is it's got a lot of things that are just real fundamental to everybody, regardless of what your level is. So I want to go through a few things here that get you started and what to use the book for. If you open it up, then the first few pages have to do with some outlines that I've done in the past, and it kind of gives you a priority of how to outline a practice session, really. And that's what I want to go over. It's on about the third or fourth page, and it says how and what to practice. So the first thing is warming up, and I know that's the most boring thing in the world. People hate to do it. But I want to separate warm up also from skill development. A lot of times people put all that in one big thing. Like, well, my warm up lasts 45 minutes. Your warm up really probably doesn't last that long if you want to get right down to it. Your warm up's going to be a little shorter. So, first thing, you've got to make sure you're breathing. Now, if you're watching this, I assume that you are. But just a few little things about breathing that may be different from what you've been told by maybe some other folks. And not that my way is necessarily right, but it works. So there. First of all, you want your breathing to be very relaxed. And I'm seated, but the same thing happens standing up. What I see a lot of times is people will tense up their shoulders and their chest. And any amount of tension is what you want to get rid of. So the least amount of tension you have to deal with in your body, especially in the breathing mechanism, the better. So with that said, some things that I see wrong sometimes are people, of course, they breathe in their shoulders and they go. And the other thing that I see a lot is people breathe with their chest first, and it's like, and they do that. And again, if you just do that on your own right now, I'll pause. Then you can see that already puts tension in your chest and your shoulders and even in the small of your back. So we want to eliminate that. As you breathe in, the natural thing is to expand down and out. Okay? And you can get into all the biology if you want to, but basically the diaphragm muscle that sits like this goes down, and then the lungs fill up. And when this comes down, then all your extra padding down here is going to probably come out, depending on how much extra padding you have. So deep belly breathing. So as you breathe in, down here expands, and also probably on the sides and maybe in the back, which is another good reason that probably your high school band directors and folks told you to not sit back against the chair, because you want to be able to expand back here also. So that's just your basic breathing in. It's just breathing down here. If you get some in the upper part of your body, into the chest, that's okay as a secondary place, and it might just happen, and that's all right. But it shouldn't be like, and then come out. Gosh, that hurt. So just breathe from the belly, breathe deep. When you exhale, then the opposite occurs. So that muscle is down, the diaphragm is down, and then as it relaxes and comes back up, the air comes out. It's not that you're forcing the air out. A vacuum has actually occurred, and that's just nature taking its course. You can accelerate that a little bit. So to develop the breathing mechanism, the first thing to do is just some basic breathing things. And I like to time them out. You could use a metronome, or you can just look at a clock or something like that. A clock, that would be the round thing with the second hand. And you just time things out. So for instance, you would breathe in for 4, out for 4, in for 4, out for 4. Then you start changing the numbers. Take in more, go out more. I don't recommend holding the breath. And this is not a knock on a high school band director's world, but because I was one for 34 years, so I understand them all too well. I see a lot of people, they take the breath in and then they hold it. Well, what happens when you hold the breath? Your jaw gets tense. These muscles get tense. Other things probably get tense. And then sometimes people have you release it and then have you do it through your teeth. And what happens when you do that? All these muscles are now tense. Again, you don't want that. Breathing and playing should be free and easy. Air is free. So, for instance, you breathe in for 4, out, in, and you do that a few times. My magic number is 9. This is Daisy, by the way. She likes to breathe too. So you breathe in and out just naturally. Then again, you start changing the numbers. If you start feeling lightheaded, which you might if you haven't been doing this, then stop. Okay? You don't want anybody passing out because they're breathing. But if it's new to you, it might feel a little bit weird, and if it's something that your body's not used to, you might be taking in more oxygen than you normally do. So that's thing 1. Just to keep the videos sort of short so I don't get that wonderful message of this is too large to send or post, then we're going to do the next parts of the book and the next parts which involve just basic warm-up stuff in a separate video. So that's breathing in a real basic nutshell. There's a few more things in here about it, and one of the places that I recommend you go if you really want to dig into breathing is it's called breathing.com. Has more information on that than you'd ever want to know. But that's a really good place if you really want to learn more about how the body works and how to do this kind of thing. And then you can apply it to not just playing, but to living. It'll really help you with relaxation and keeping healthy, which is an important thing, especially now. All right, so come back for the next video, and I'll deal with warming up and things like that.